Welcome back to the Morning Blend. Okay, so remember when we used to make fun of people who snore? We joke that, oh, that guy snores so loud it's like a semi-truck downshifting. Huh? Well, the truth is, snoring can be dangerous to someone's health.
Yeah, and if you share a bed with someone who snores, you know it can be worrisome, exhausting, and annoying. So, how do you talk to the snorer in your life? Dr. Madan Kandula is a board-certified ear, nose, and throat specialist, physician, and surgeon with Advent, and he's going to give you some good tips about it. Good to see you, doctor.
Good to be here. Good to be here.
You break up with them. Is that the answer?
That's one option. It happens more often than you think.
Kick them out?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's definitely a wedge for a lot of folks. And I mean, it's not necessarily, how do you say this? If everything else is hunky-dory in your relationship, maybe this isn't that big of a deal. If there are other issues, this could be, you know, sort of the straw that broke the camel's back. And by itself, you know, it's annoying by itself. It's just sort of, the snorer isn't loving life, and the person who suffers from somebody snoring isn't loving life.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely not, how do you say it? It's made light of, and it's been an issue since the dawn of man, so it's not like it's a new thing. We've got good solutions nowadays that they didn't have back in the day, but I think there's still a lot of misunderstanding about it, and it's just sort of a lot of frustration around it. And it's, again, it's unfortunate because, like I said, we do have good solutions now.
Does the snorer always know that they're a problem? Because I feel like when someone's snoring, my mother and my father, my mother and my brother both snore really loud. So I grew up with snorers in the house, and I feel like they're sleeping so sound. They're having such a good night's sleep.
Sometimes they know, sometimes they don't. You know, so it's sort of like this wishy-washy answer. But most folks don't know how when it starts. Most folks don't know that. Oh, you know, that's not really my issue. Maybe you're a light sleeper or something.
Yeah,
like
right.
that.
They don't realize how loud
you know,
it is.
and then it can progress, or you know. So a lot of times they're the last person to truly find out, because how are you going to know? Because you're asleep. But so sort of gentle nudges and sometimes sharp elbows in the middle of the night. That's usually the most common thing to just stop. And you know, changing somebody's position can help, but the issue is always in the back of the throat. That's always where it's happening. And so when you're nudging somebody, you're basically trying to nudge them into a different position, potentially nudging them to wake them up, because if you're awake, usually you're not snoring. If you're sleeping, when you're sleeping, everything relaxes. When you're horizontal, that's sort of the worst possible position for everything to kind of collapse back there.
What are the problems that bed partners report to you when they're sleeping with someone who's snoring? Is it very often a relationship issue?
It can be. I mean, we usually we're not relationship experts, so we sort of put the Heisman on that part. But I think certainly, you know, when folks come in, you know, sometimes they'll come in on their own, by their own volition. Sometimes they'll come in on their own because somebody's, you know, pushing them there. Sometimes couples will come in, and that actually is helpful to get the variety of inputs. And it's not, this can be done in a spiteful manner, and that's not helpful. It can be done in a loving manner, that's helpful. And so I think if somebody's really, you know, sort of concerned about somebody's health, concerned about their overall, you know, health in the bedroom as far as being able to go to sleep, get help. That's an easy thing to do. You know, there can be other issues going on, but this is an easy one to get to the bottom of.
What are some of the problems behind snoring? Why is it such a big issue? It's not just a nuisance.
No, I mean, the big problem, so where it's happening is in the back of the throat. So we have something called a breathing triangle, which is basically you have three holes to breathe through. You got two in your nose, one in the mouth, and that's it. And so, you know, it seems like such a simple concept for us as ear, nose, and throat physicians that, okay, that's it. So if somebody snores or somebody has sleep apnea, that's sort of the other concern that's there. Everybody who has sleep apnea snores. Not everybody snores who has sleep apnea. Most folks who snore don't have sleep apnea.
It's not always causal.
Not always, but everybody have snoring or sleep apnea, the sound is coming from the back of your throat. The problem can start at the start of your airway, which ideally is your nose. So if you took anybody and you close their nose down and you put them to sleep, most folks are going to snore to some extent. If you have any tendency towards snoring, that's going to happen. So if your nose is shut and you're trying to sleep, it's going to cause trouble. Most folks who snore do have nose issues. Most folks who snore or have sleep apnea don't necessarily, they're not conscious of those issues. They're conscious because they hear about the snoring. But we address and assess, and you need to address and assess the overall airway. So the breathing passageways start with the nose. If you're going to start with a limp, you're not going to be running very far, you know, when you're sleeping at night. So it's really a matter of getting to the bottom of why this is going on. It's really restriction or blockage in any of those areas. A lot of folks, it's all of those areas. So if we can kind of, you know, sort of start at the beginning and really see if somebody does have a nose issue, well, let's look at that. Let's identify what the issues are. Let's fix that. We have office-based procedures that for most for most folks, are solutions for that. Sometimes that's the end of the story. Sometimes we get the nose working, snoring's gone. You know, oftentimes it's get the nose working, and if somebody has sleep apnea, it's okay, what else are we doing? But if the nose is working, you're always going to be better off as far as any treatment goes.
And we ran out of time, but quickly about diagnosis. Is it a physical exam of the nose and the throat? Is it a sleep study?
Yeah, it's anything that's appropriate. So we're certainly going to look. When we look, basically we're going to listen and then we're going to look. Between those two things, we usually have a pretty good sense as to this is what's going on. Either, you know, I can't tell you whether you have sleep apnea or not just by looking, but I kind of can. We can pretty much know, okay, yeah, this is something that's pushed past snoring or not so much. If we feel like there's a concern for sleep apnea, we'll do a home sleep study. That's simple. A lot of folks get sort of scared of, well, what's going to happen if I go in to get checked out? We're not scary. We're going to take a look. We're going to listen. If you need a home sleep study, we can do that. It's in your own bed. Easy information, tells us what's going on. And then on down the pathway, we can kind of guide you and get you where you need to be.
Free help. You've got right now a free snoring and sleep apnea information program. There's 2 dates. Tuesday the 20th at 6, that's in Wauwatosa. Then Thursday the 22nd at 6, that's in Mequon. You can call or visit to register this website. First, the phone number 414-771-6780 or visit ADVENT.md/event-form for more information. And then coming in March too, there's a third location in Economowoc coming for Advent. Here are the other locations on your screen with that same phone number that you can call to register for that free snoring and sleep apnea information program. Thanks for being here, Doctor.
Thanks for having me.
Great to see you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.